Hello and welcome to the Have Knitting podcast. My name is Christy and this is my co-host. You say hello? I'm sitting on the floor, he's standing behind me, that's why it looks kind of bizarre. Highways. He's just waking up from a sleep and is fairly miserable, so he doesn't want to sit on my lap. He doesn't want to just... Now he's happy. He's seen himself on the screen, so he's happy again. So he's just going to be crawling around and probably crawling over the top of me as well. And you'll probably hear him playing. I'm sitting in the back room. I'm sitting in my my two youngest daughters' room. It's a little bit cloudy. It's pretty cold. Well, it's cold for me. So yeah, but it's winter. What do you expect? What do I expect? I'm drinking warm water because I've already had 1 cup of coffee and 1 cup of tea today, and I did think about making another cup of tea, but I've only just finished the first one. Monday was a public holiday and it was a bit cold, and all I wanted to do was drink tea and coffee all day, and I think, I don't know, I had 4 or 5 cups of coffee plus 4 or 5 cups of tea during the entire day. And I ended up saying to my husband, I don't generally drink tea and coffee like this. But it was just, thank you. He gave me a car. It was just one of those days. I just, just wanted that constant warm. I was drinking water in between. It's all right. I wasn't dehydrating myself with just, sorry, he's now banging on the side of the, oh, he's found little things that I've just taken off him. Sorry. So yeah, so just, I don't know. No, not in your mouth. Oh, we're going to go through this again. Sorry, I've already tried recording once and it was not in your mouth. Don't put that in your mouth. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? So yes, I didn't get a chance to record yesterday because I was doing Jamberry stuff. And by the time that was all finished, it was just about time. He was awake and eating lunch and it was almost time to go and get my youngest from preschool. No, you can't have that. Sorry. So I just left it for today, thinking that I would do it while he was asleep. And he's decided he doesn't want to sleep this morning. Instead, he wants to have a 2-year-old sock. Oh. Oh. Do you want a dummy? No, you can't have that, but you can have this. No, doesn't want that on. I put him down for a sleep. Again, he was just miserable, poor little kid. I don't know if he's just not 100% or what. But yeah, so I put him down and I had a cup of coffee. And I put some stuff on my lips because they were feeling a bit dry. Yes, and he really fought it. He really fought the whole sleep thing. So, yes, so I can't remember what I said last time. Maybe I should just start again. Okay, so hello and welcome to the Have Knitting podcast. My name is Christy. It is a Wednesday. It is sometime in June. I'm sorry, I really don't know the date. I don't tend to pay attention unless it's somebody's birthday. I know the 12th was on Sunday, so count 3 after that. So what? That would make it the 15th? It's the 15th today. This last weekend was a long weekend for us. So it's a shorter work week for most Aussies, which is fantastic. And all of our school kids. Well, at least here in New South Wales, I think Western Australia celebrates the Queen's birthday long weekend. At a different date. I don't know. I only knew... I've just had coffee. You'd think that I would be able to speak properly because my brain would have kicked into gear, but apparently not. Yeah, so Yeah, I only know Australian times. I found a pattern on Ravelry this morning that was free until noon, the 15th. Excuse me, the 15th of June, Copenhagen time. Well, when I saw it, it was already 10 o'clock. I'm like, that's only going to be free for another 2 hours. So I have no idea what time it is in Copenhagen. I know that there are some parts of the world that are over a day behind us, which is just weird. But yes, so, but you know, that's what happens when you get to celebrate New Year's first. Oh, well, actually, New Zealand gets to celebrate New Year's before us. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You may all look down on us because we live in the Southern Hemisphere and we don't, you know, have snowy winters and Christmases and blah, 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 blah. But we celebrate New Year's and Christmas and just about everything else first. Sorry, the cold's getting to me. The lack of sleep, I don't know. I've been going to bed like at midnight every night. And last night I was determined to go to bed earlier. And then my husband got home about just after 11. And so then we started talking, and the next thing I'm like, it's almost midnight and I'm still not in bed. So I think I got into bed at 2 to midnight. I've got to stop doing that. It's just crazy. But if he's out, then I don't feel like I can really go to bed until he's home, because just in case, you know, the baby wakes up or if he's away for the weekend, you know, I don't stay up that late, but I don't know. Crazy in my head. So, my weeks in review. I mentioned we were sick, I think, and I didn't get much crafting done. I haven't really done anything exciting. This last Saturday, so Saturday on the long weekend, I caught up with my old school friends. There's 4 of us that still keep in fairly regular contact and catch up and everything, which is fantastic. And we went up to Katoomba. So I grew up down in the Sutherland Shire, which is about an hour and a half away from where I live, maybe a little bit more. And, you know, after school, we all sort of scattered around the place. And so, yeah, so one now lives in the inner city, another lives down the coast a little bit, another one still lives in the Shire, and I've moved out this way. So we get together, you know, 2 or 3 times a year and go to different parts of Sydney, find different cafes or restaurants that we want to try, and then we go and hang out and you know, catch up and have a few good laughs, which is fun. And so this time we went to Katoomba, which is insane because it's freezing up there. I mean, like, I think it's cold here, but it's colder in Katoomba. So we went to this little, excuse me, this cafe called the Paragon, which is, I think it says on the website it's supposed to be Art Deco, but it's still, I'm sure it still has all the original fixtures from the 1920s. It's like stepping into another era. You know, like all the tables, like they had wooden booths. Like it was sitting on a old wooden church pew, and the tables were really tiny. Like you couldn't, because the plates are really big. We sort of had to have them sort of in a funny kind of zigzag configuration, because they're still, like, they were still quite small. Excuse me. And it had like the dark wooden paneling. It was just It's amazing. It was really lovely being in there. They sell chocolate and stuff. They have chocolatiers there, so they create their own chocolates. Which is very. We only had chocolate cake, and I was going to buy some chocolates before I left, but I was feeling really full, and I thought I don't want to be carrying around chocolate. So I'll have to go back up because it's only, you know, like 20 minutes from here or so. So I will have to go back at some stage and get some chocolates. But yeah, it was really lovely. I mean, where we were sitting, we must have gotten the 3 draft. So if anybody was opening, because we could see the kitchen from where we were sitting, or from where I was sitting because I was facing the kitchen. So I think if there was somebody at the back opening the back, if there's a back door and they were opening it or whatever, but there was just this constant draft, like cold draft that would sort of come in through the front and go like out through the back. And then it would go away and then it would come back. So I can only assume that it was because doors were being opened. And if the back door and the front door were being opened at the same time, it just let that draft go straight through. So it wasn't particularly warm in there. At least not where I was sitting, but the food was yum. I had a Paragon burger, which was really, really yummy, except for the beetroot, which I did not eat. I do not like beetroot. My husband does, though, so it's a shame he wasn't there because I would have just handed it over to him. But yeah, that was really yummy, and it was good catching up. And then we left there at about just after 4:30 and drove down to the Three Sisters. So the Three Sisters is an iconic Australian land, like World Heritage landmark sort of thing. It's like Uluru. It's a rock formation. It looks like Three Sisters, and there's three. It's three. It doesn't really look like Three Sisters. It's three rock formations that are all close together, and there's an Aboriginal story about them, and they're Three Sisters. And if you want to look it up, Google Aboriginal stories, Blue Mountains, something like that, and it can tell you the whole traditional story, which I have read before because I think one of my kids had done an assignment, and that was one of the stories that she looked at. But yeah, so it was freezing. It was blowing an absolute gale, and it was freezing. It was so cold. And it was just getting on dusk as well. So the sun was setting, which was beautiful. Like the colors were just amazing. I love sunsets. I love the colors. They're amazing. But yeah, it was just really, really, really windy. And so even though we were all rugged up, I came home, my ears felt like they had frozen off. My hands were frozen. If anything, the one thing that I came away from that I took away from that whole experience was that I really need to knit myself a beanie. I don't think I look particularly good in a hat. I don't think hats suit me. I know Woolly Wormhead has done a whole thing on, the shape of your, which hat suits the shape of your face. And so maybe I need to read her blog posts on it or whatever. And then find a hat that's suitable for my head. But it was so cold. So cold. And so windy. But it was fun. It was a huge amount of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was nice to come home to a very warm house because we had the wood heater going. But yeah, so that was my weekend. This coming weekend, my oldest daughter, and that was the other thing that I did on Saturday, I had to take my 12-year-old shopping for makeup. Ugh. It's sort of those things that has to be done, but at the same time, it's like you're too young to be wearing makeup. But it's for a stage thing. But yes, so her musical starts. She's performing in Footloose. And so that starts on Friday. We are watching that on Saturday night with my husband, myself, and our second oldest daughter, who's 10. We are all going to watch it, and I've got a friend coming to look after the rest of the kids because I can pretty much guarantee that they wouldn't sit still. And it's a 2-hour musical, and I didn't really like the idea of trying to, maybe not so much the 4-year-old, but the 2 boys, and then the baby who would be overtired and grumpy. Yeah. I missed the end of Zootopia. I don't want to miss the end of Footloose. So, yes. So anyway, that's pretty much my weekend review. I will talk a bit more about Footloose next week, because by then I obviously would have seen it, and I can regale you with my tales of Footloose, the movie. Because that's a really funny story. Okay, I think it's funny. Probably not everyone else agrees with me, but I think it's funny, and I will tell you that next week. Random things you don't need to know about Christy, and embrace the craziness that is the Have Knitting podcast, because that's how I roll, peeps. That's how I roll. So let's talk knitting, because that's what you're here for, and I've been rambling on for, goodness knows, 10 minutes or so about stuff. Alright, so I'm going to start with a faux. I'm sorry. I had a plan in my head today of how my day was going to go. And my son not sleeping well, you know, waking up and that whole crying and then having to resettle him, and how long that took and everything has kind of thrown me. So I'll probably just go a little bit loopy for a little bit, just to, you know, kind of recenter myself. And, you know, otherwise I think I'd probably end up a little bit stressed. So, oh, I should show you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my honey cowl, which I knit a few years ago. I knit this in Madeline Tosh, I think it's the 8-ply, whatever that one is. I think it's malachite. It's not coming up as green as it is on screen. On the screen it's not coming up as green as it is, if that makes sense. But this is, I love this cowl. I don't wear it that often, but then I put this stripy top on this one. And I thought, oh, that'll go really well with it. And then I put it on, and all of a sudden the green, like it's pulled out the blue in the green. Does that make sense what I'm saying? But I don't care. I don't care if it clashes a little bit. I'm still wearing it. It's warm. It's warm, and I don't wear this one very often. I love it, I just don't wear it very often. And I'm wearing matching green earrings. Glass studs that I picked up in Junee, which is a little hole-in-the-wall town on the way to Victoria. Or, as it was, on the way home from Wagga to Sydney at Christmas, when we were leaving, after we left my mother-in-law's house. So if you are ever in Sydney, or you're travelling between Sydney and Melbourne for whatever reason, or Sydney and Wagga, or even Sydney and South Australia on the road, and stop in at Junee. It's a really nice little place. They have a cafe which we didn't buy food at, but but it was packed, absolutely packed. I think it was the day after Boxing Day. And yeah, it was completely and utterly packed. And then they had this little other store with like local wines and honey and handmade earrings and a whole range of things. So it was really cool. So yeah, so that's where I got those. Always nice to remember where you get something. And I love them. I love them so much. It's recycled glass. Pretty cool. And they go with my cowl, sort of. Alright, so I finished my first tricolour block socks, whatever you want to call them. Block sockatumi. So, I can't remember where I was up to last time. I think I'd started doing the increases for the second sock, for the heel. So I increased an extra 10 stitches on the back, like just before I got to the heel. And then I did the gusset over 42 instead of 32 stitches. And then I decreased before I started the ribbing. So, and it works. They fit really well. I'm really happy with them. In fact, this could very well end up being my go-to heel. I really, 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 really like knitting it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did the ribbing. I did 2.5 inches of ribbing because I got sick of doing 1x1 ribbing. This is from the short row heel, toe and ribbing is from Brownie's sock recipe, which you can get on Ravelry. I was supposed to decrease a stitch along the foot and I forgot, so I decreased it just before I kitchened the toe. So yeah, so that's that. So you can see increases on the back of the heel, decreases on the bottom of the foot, so that I got a bigger pocket for my heel. And then I did the short row toe as well. And yeah, really happy with them. Really, I haven't worn them yet. I haven't taken photos of them on my feet yet either. Hopefully I can do that tomorrow. But I went to knit night on Friday night. I've got a really active social life at the moment. It's amazing, but it's all knitting predominantly. My husband got cranky with me because I'm out all the time, but I'm out knitting. I think that's a good thing. Sorry, I've got the sniffles. It's winter. It's a constant thing around here. So I was darning in the ends. Oh my goodness, people. Oh my goodness. I took these to knit night on Friday night to darn in the ends. 2 hours it took to darn in the ends of one sock. There was one end, 2, another 2 here, so it's at 5, and then 1 up here. So 6 ends to darn in. It took me 2 hours because I was so busy talking. I came home and did the second sock, and it took me about 15 minutes. Probably less. And I sat in front of the fire and did it because it was cold. But yes. So, so silly. But anyway, so I was darning these in, and the lady sitting next to me said, I don't know why, but they remind me of ice cream. And I said, oh, thank goodness, because they remind me of ice cream too. And then another lady went, but grey ice cream. And the lady sitting next to me went, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen grey gelato. And then when I was at the Paragon, I'm pretty sure they had grey gelato. It was empty, but there was like still ice cream around the side of the tin, you know, like in the ice cream shops, they've got those, the tin things that the ice cream lives in. Pretty sure it was grey. I think there was another one that was khaki green. Bit weird. But yeah, because I'm pretty sure that you can get like licorice flavoured gelato or whatever it is. So, gelato socks. Yum. So I'm really glad, because for a while there, every time I looked at these colours, my mouth started watering because I thought of ice cream and gelato. But so they're done. Yay. And I've started my other sock. Actually, a couple of weekends ago when I wasn't 100% well, we had a huge amount of rain. Like, it was torrential, and apparently it's going to happen again this weekend. Hooray. But I decided to sew myself up a bento bag, and this is it. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think I've got a hole in one of the seams that I just have to sew over. And I do want to box the corners as well eventually. But that means I've got to get my sewing machine out again. But anyway, that's not a big deal. But yeah, so this is really cool. I'm really happy with it. I just got 2 fat quarters. My friend's mum owns the post office patch in Glenbrook. And so I went down there and I chose 2 fabrics that I would be happy with. 2 fat quarters. So it was $10 all up, because I think fat quarters were $10 each. And yeah, came home and washed them, and then voila. So the only thing that I would change next time, because I think I will make one of these again. I think I folded the fabric in half, I think. I can't quite remember. I don't think I cut it in half. I think I just folded it in half. I'm not quite sure. But I think next time I would cut the fabric in half and then have like, and then have them opposite. Do you know what I mean? So that I would have one triangle of this fabric facing this fabric and vice versa, so that so that you'd have that whole coordinating kind of look. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I know what I mean inside my head. I can visualize it, but I can't explain it. So if I'm confusing you, I'm really sorry. But anyway, so this is my bento bag. I am very happy with it. It's actually quite handy to sort of sit in my lap and knit out of. Nothing kind of really falls out of it. It doesn't have any lining or anything, but I actually think I prefer this to my drawstring bag in terms of being able to knit out of it from, you know, from my lap or my table, because of the opening and the way it sits. But in terms of carrying, I prefer my drawstring bag, because I can, you know, hang that off the side of my pram or whatever, whereas this one ties up in a knot. So if you are a seamstress, or have any idea how to get a handle on this that would still look attractive, then let me know. I will make the ultimate project bag. Probably not, but anyway. So I have started my second pair of tricolour socks for the Miss Click Clack Block Socket to Me knit along. So this was a custom die that I asked Kelly, also known as Miss Click Clack, to do. So this colour here is a one-of-a-kind called Valerian. The blue is a one-of-a-kind called Bluebird. And then this is Garden Party. This was in her store. So it was this yarn that I saw that I went, I want that, and I want matching mulberry and blue. And so she gave me some options, and I chose options, and she dyed it all up for me. So that is that, and it's really lovely. And I'm doing the Vanilla is the New Black sock with the strong I think it's called a strong heel. So it's this weird kind of, it's not weird, it's this interesting triangular kind of ribbing sort of thing going on there. So I think the designer goes under the name Shanghai Lily. I could be wrong. I think that's what it is. And I don't have my phone, so I can't tell you officially. But yeah, so you increase 2 stitches, I don't know for how long, and to have almost 100 stitches for my size foot on the needle. And then you do your heel turn. So it's really very interesting. And so instead of working back and forward, you're still working round and round and round while doing these increases. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes and see how it fits. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely different. In fact, I'm enjoying it so much that I'm having a really hard time putting it down. So I got up this morning to get the kids ready for school and sat and knit. Instead of they got to school on time. They had their lunches in their lunch boxes, and I was showered and dressed. So I didn't do too badly, but I did a huge amount of knitting as well. So yes, I'm really enjoying that. It's a bit addictive because you just, like, it's addictive in that I want to get to that heel turn. I want to see how it's constructed because it's just fascinating to me. But yes, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really loving the colours. My 10-year-old is quite cranky that the blue isn't, I haven't put in a bigger blue portion. But I was, originally what I was going to do is I was going to knit the second sock blue at the top of the leg and then swap that out and do, you know, like purple there or whatever, you know, like I was going to alternate it. But now that I've done it, I've gone, no, I want them to be the same. So I'm going to have a blue toe. And, but yeah, you'll see when I have it, when I've got it done. So yeah, so that's that. And I'm enjoying it. So that is that. I'm really, really happy to be working on that. If you are working on socks, feel free to join in our May, Yay for May sock along, which is going until the end of August, which is the end of our winter. This is the prize for that. It's a lovely shawl pin made by Tonya, who is one of our lovely viewers. And these shawl pins can only be bought at her local yarn store. She doesn't sell them anywhere else. So if you want it, knit socks and enter the competition. Thank you, Tonya. This is really lovely. I do have one as well. She sent me 3. So I have one in my bedroom, which I have yet to use. But now that it's shawl weather, I have to pull it out. I'll try and remember to wear it next time so you can all see it. So this is really cool. I love it. So yes, so if you want this, please enter. Knit socks. Show me your socks. And talking about socks, they're starting on the 1st of July is our stripy sock knit along. So if you have stripy socks, it can be hand spun yarn, it can be commercially dyed yarn, it could even be one of those awesome magic yarn balls that I'm seeing everyone sort of starting to knit socks with. Anything like that, you can make up your own stripes. Feel free to knit along in that as well. To begin with, I do have some self-striping yarn that I will be using, but to begin with, if I'm still working on this classes as my stripy sock because stripe. So, and these are real, it's just, I really want to get these done before I start anything else. So that's what I'm doing, and that starts on the 1st of July, and I will be knitting a project bag, I will be sewing a project bag as a giveaway. Words. I will be sewing a project bag as a giveaway. So it'll either be another bento bag or it'll be a drawstring bag because I can sew both of those quite well. Yes. I would have more to say about that and in terms of sewing a bag with a zipper, which I can also do, but I would like to sew myself one up first and make sure that it works. Okay. So, but yeah, I really like bento bags and I like the I like drawstring bags too. They're my favourite. Although I have a zippered bag. So, words. So this is my Brian. I'll show you the right side. I didn't knit on it much that week that I was sick. Actually, I don't think I knit on it at all. I think it was mainly socks. But I've kind of picked it up again in the last week, and I'm really loving it. So, as if you have been a regular viewer, you would know that I have a tendency to knit on shawls until I run out of yarn. This shawl, though, I'm not going to do that with, because what the designer has done is that, I don't know if you can see, but the stripe section and the textured section get, you know, like the stripes get further and further apart with each repeat, and the textured section actually gets wider and wider. And like, I can see the pattern, I can see where she's going with that, and I don't want to ruin that by just by then doing an extra long textured section, because I actually like the way that it sort of grows a little bit more each time. If I get to the end of this, the next textured section, and I think I have enough yarn, then I'll keep going, but I don't think I will. I really don't think I will. But yeah, so I'm still really enjoying that. It's coming together really nicely. It's a really sort of simple yet interesting pattern. Yeah, so I've just really been enjoying that. Not necessarily looking forward to sewing in all those ends, but for the love of knitting and the person that I'm knitting it for, it will not be a big deal. So, and this, I'm knitting it in Madeline Tosh Merino Light. Madeline Tosh Merino Light. This is, I can't remember the name of the colour anymore. Venetian. I knew it started with a V. This is Venetian. It's kind of a burgundy marony kind of, it's really burgundy on my iPad, but to look at is quite maroon. I don't know. And the other one is, the contrast colour is Calligraphy with a crochet hook in it. So yes, I'm going to have quite a bit of this left over, so I think I will be doing another 2-colour shawl at some point with this. You know, actually, I was thinking this morning I really need a navy blue shawl, so I may just end up using this in a navy blue shawl. So that is that, and I think I'm knitting it on 4mm needles. I'm not 100% sure. My socks are being knit on 2.5mm needles. And that's it. That's it for what I'm sort of knitting at the moment. I haven't blocked my monkey dress yet. I need to get that done at some point soon, so I can sew that up and put it on the monkey and then carry on either knitting the next monkey or I don't know. I've got so much that I need to do that it's kind of stopping me from doing anything except for actually finishing what I'm working on. And at the moment, getting those socks finished and getting the Brian finished is kind of a priority for me, especially considering that it is winter and the person that I am knitting the shawl for is in this country, like is in Australia, so it's currently winter. So I want to get it to her before the weather gets too much colder, so she can actually wear it. Because it would be awful to give it to her, you know, like at the end of, you know, August, September or, you know, during September when the weather's starting to warm up and it's like, oh, it's too warm to wear it now. So trying to get it done so I can give it to her. I do have some, a recent purchase to show. I saw this on Etsy. It's from Ren and Ollie, who is an Australian indie dyer. And I saw it and I fell in love. It's just me all over. So there's a little bit of yellow, there's a little bit of pink, there's a little bit of green. It's called Enchanted. There's a little bit of blue. It is so lovely. I'm pretty sure it'll be socks. 75% superwash, 25% nylon. This is not how it came to me. I mean, it was in this lovely, it was in a hank, but my son got to it and took the, my 1-year-old son got to it and took the ball band off, so I had to try and get it back on, so it didn't look this kind of skewy when it arrived. But anyway, so yes, I love it. I really like this yarn. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's on the Ollie's sock yarn base. My pink gradient shawl, I can't remember the name of it, Antarctic shawl, that was knit, I think it's a Ren and Ollie before she went. Yeah, I got it from a website, like a yarn store in South Australia. And I'm pretty sure it's Ren and Ollie. It's such a long story. Such a convoluted story. All of my stories are convoluted. So yeah, so I think it's done by the same dyer. So I have used yarn from her before, but this is softer. I think my Antarctis is a little bit on the scratchy side, so she may have switched yarn bases. But this is quite soft, so I could probably knit a shawl out of this as well, actually. I don't know. I might knit socks. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm in no rush to knit with this because I have so many other things that I need to do. And also for all of you planner addicts, I did get some stickers that I forgot to show you last time for my diary slash, it's not a journal, it's a planner diary kind of thing. It's from Happy Cutie Studio. She's in the UK. And she ships to Australia. I'm assuming she ships everywhere else as well. She's on Etsy, obviously. And so I got these. So they're vlogger stickers. So I can put in my diary when I'm going to be recording, when I'm editing, when I'm uploading, and hopefully remember to write show notes. I got birthday cupcake stickers because I didn't have anything like this. Oh, actually, the reason I found her store was because I was specifically looking for birthday cake stickers to put in my diary for when, you know, our relatives, nephews, nieces, kids, brothers, sisters, all the rest of it we only have sisters-in-law, but when all of those people have birthdays. So I got these cute little cupcakes. And she also had knitting ones as well, but I've got knitting ones from Fox and Cactus, and I thought, oh, better not buy anymore. And grocery stickers! How cute are they? So I can put in my diary when I plan on going grocery shopping, which is today actually. So I should go put this in my diary now. So I haven't used any of these because I wanted to show you first. But they're so cute. Oh, they're so cute. So that is it for me for another week. Don't forget the Yay for May sock along. Show me your socks. I'm keen, and you can go in the draw or in the whatever to win this, which is awesome. And if you like stripy socks, I'm doing the stripy sock knit along in conjunction with Moira from Knitting in Stitches, so you can double dip in both of our knit alongs if you would like to participate and knit stripy socks. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you watch her podcast, she talks about a few other, Moira talks about a few other knit alongs that she's participating in that coincide with the stripy sock along. So you could potentially double dip in maybe 3 or 4. Well, that would be quadruple dipping then, wouldn't it? Triple dipping, quadruple dipping, and probably score yourself some great prizes. And yes. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for me. My son is still asleep, so that's awesome. I better go write my shopping list so that I can buy food, so I can feed my family. And hang out some washing. Don't really want to go outside, but anyway, needs to try. Okay, so that's it. Have a great week, whatever you're doing. I am sure to enjoy Footloose on Saturday night. I'm just looking forward to going out without all my kids. So yeah, I will talk to you all again in about a week. Bye.